You're listening to Drinks and a Movie with your host, Rudy. Spoiler alert.
We're rolling Drinks and a Movie podcast. Yo, everybody, thanks for joining. I'm back here today with co-host Shane from the Mystery Men episode.
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
Yeah, that's a good cork pop. So we just finished watching The Wolf of Wall Street. This is actually Shane's pick. All right, which I didn't even think to do this movie yet. There's so many other like Scorsese films I'd want to do, and I never get around to them. But I'm glad I hadn't seen this for a few years, so I'm glad you brought it up. But first, we're going to be drinking Michter's Bourbon. This is from their core lineup. So we're coming in at only 91.4 proof. Yeah, Michter's small batch.
Only. Have you had anything from this brand before?
Yeah, I drink a lot of stuff from this brand.
Michter's.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
This one I haven't had in quite a long time, though.
Thank you.
I gravitate towards their rye. Of their core lineup, that's my favorite. And then all their like limited edition shit that's really expensive and hard to come by is very good. But yeah, here we go. So fresh crack on this one. Swirl it up a little bit. Vanilla bomb on the nose so far. But pretty muted, pretty light. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not getting too much. I smell a lot of alcohol.
It didn't help too that like we started with that 110 proof Amberana finish,
That was
and then
really good.
I was drinking the Old Forester 100. So now we're kind of in terms of proof stepping down, which typically isn't the best thing.
What
for
is
me.
Old Forester?
That one was 100 proof.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go in for the taste. Yeah, I'm not really getting much on the nose. Cheers.
Well, doesn't taste like the first one you gave me. That one was pretty good.
Yeah, I've got more if you want to switch it. All right, I'm gonna go in for the second sip before I talk about it. I'm trying to be better about that because normally it's like the first sip you kind of get acclimated to it. Mm-hmm. So let's go in for round two. All right, so I'll say I feel like Michter's you can't go wrong with, especially if you're new into the bourbon journey, and you can speak to this in a moment since you're kind of trying a lot of this stuff out for the first time. But I think for me and my palate, and I finished the Old Forester like maybe 30, 45 minutes ago. So it's not like I was drinking consistently to this point. But by comparison, it's like pretty light, at least for me. It's like very light on the palate. It's not like super viscous, and the flavor is kind of muted. So we'll see how it opens up over time. It's definitely like quintessential bourbon, like caramel, vanilla. You know, there's that. Like you get a little bit of the alcohol bite, but it still goes down pretty easy. So that's my take on it. Yeah, I never really gravitated towards this one too much. Like I said, the rye is my favorite one by far of their core lineup. But yeah, so what do you think?
It tastes, I don't drink whiskey as much as you, but it tastes a lot like Old Forester to me. Just like if I were like remember what Old Forester tastes like, that's what it tastes like. Especially since we've been drinking that more often. But it tastes nothing like the other one you gave me.
Yeah.
When we started the movie, that one I was like, oh, I can taste the different, the uniqueness.
Right, right.
This just kind of seems like run of the mill kind of whiskey to me.
Yeah.
I can't really taste the difference.
Yeah, just your stock. Yeah, like I meant like your stock bourbon notes. Nothing really jumping out in a special way. But yeah, so they're like, they're 10-year-old and they're fucking toasted barrel bourbon. Like that shit's great. Like all their other stuff when it comes to their limited editions, like jumps up to a whole new level. Yeah. Like their toasted barrel bourbon, people sell that shit for like $300, which is crazy. But yeah, this is like a $35 bottle. Okay. Again, quintessential. And for those listening, the whiskey he's referring to is earlier we were drinking the RD1 Amberana finish, which if you hadn't had it is very good. It's like a $70 bottle. I just have the little tiny taster bottle, but it's their RD1 bourbon, which is pretty good. It's fairly new. I think they started like 2017 or 19 or something, but they finished their bourbon in Amberana, which is a Brazilian wood. And for us, we were both talking about how it gives it a strong like cinnamon, like apple cinnamon kind of taste. Honestly. Yeah, it's really good.
We should have reviewed that one. Yeah. Have you ever done that one?
I was going to, but actually, one of the last episodes I recorded, we did it. Oh, That's why I had it left in my crate.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we can always pour more of that when this is done. But yeah, man, Wolf of Wall Street.
My name is Jordan Belfort. The year I turned 26, I made $49 million, which really pissed me off because it was $3 shy of $1 million a week. We're making a name for ourselves.
Nobody knows if the stock is going to go up, down, sideways, or in circles. You know what a fugazi is? Well, Fugazi. It's fake.
Hey, Fugazi, Fugazi. It's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust.
Was all this legal? Absolutely not. We were making more money than we knew what to do with.
We don't work for you, man.
You have my money taped to your boobs. Technically, you do work for me.
What's wrong, Daddy?
Oh my God. FBI. Any kind of booze you might want? No, the Bureau forbids us from drinking. Duh.
How does this actually work?
There's a big money sign.
They get launched at the time they stick.
This is their gift, okay? They're built to be thrown like a lawn dart.
1, 2, 3! Stop. Okay? Safety first.
Safety is first. We don't want to get a bad reputation.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not someone who likes to really rewatch movies. You know, I like to watch a movie every couple of years. I'll go back to it, but I'm not someone's like, oh, this is my favorite movie. Let me watch it, next month and the following month or whatever. But Wolf of Wall Street is something that's always been in the back of my head. There's so many great scenes that I quote or that I love, and just stupid little lines like "she's perfect" or the Popeye scene. I love that scene. So much about it stands out to me, and I think it's possibly in my top 5 list for sure.
Oh shit! Of all time,
I think the movie moves well. It's super entertaining. It's funny. It's real. It's dramatic, and I think it's probably Leo's maybe best performance ever. Like, I think he got snubbed for that, but yeah, I love this movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna give the synopsis real quick, just off IMDb for anyone that's not familiar. But chances are you've seen it. So it came out in 2013. It's based on the true story of Jordan Belfort, from his rise to a wealthy stockbroker living the high life to his fall involving crime, corruption, and the federal government. It was nominated for 5 Academy Awards. Unfortunately, not editing for some reason. And, we were talking about this the other day. I had mentioned that I felt Leo, when he won for Revenant, like really deserved in that one. And you were talking about his performance in this movie. And yeah, today when we were watching it, I mentioned, I was like, I think I agree with you 100% now. Like, now that I'm going back to this, they show so much range. Like him and Jonah Hill is great too.
Jonah Hill is great.
Who'd have thought he'd just keep coming out as like a badass actor? But all the range they show, from being under the influence to just partying and having fun, to their dramatic moments and dealing with the cops and being sober, and just all the whole
even
gamut.
Being on drugs. Like, yeah, it's easy to say, oh, he's on drugs, he's acting quacky, but like the way he's acting is really relevant. Like, and I don't know if it's makeup or what, but he has like dilated pupils half the time, which is really, really good. For putting on that image.
They all come across very authentic too.
Yeah.
Like they feel so real the way they go and discuss everything. Like, I was almost gonna say it when we were watching it, but I didn't want to kill the vibe. Was when they're on the plane and they're just dicking around with the stewardess, and she's like, and when they're like Hilda or whatever, just the way they joke and interact,
their friendship feels authentic.
It feels super real. Yeah, like, oh yeah, that's how it would be. Like, they almost revert to these childlike qualities. And I was talking about the scene where he talks to Kyle Chandler, the FBI guy, on the boat, and this was the most I ever appreciated that scene too. Like, I don't know, it's just the subtext within it, right? Like how he thinks he's so slick trying to do this bribe after his dude told him don't talk to them.
Around, yeah.
Like, they're smart, you're dumb. Don't do it. Like, don't do that. And of course, he thinks money is going to solve his problems here. The way Kyle Chandler just throws it in his face at the end. And I do really like that shot of him, after Jordan gets arrested, they won the case, and they just show that shot of him looking at it on the newspaper, and he's on the subway train.
I was thinking that I was going to say something too, but I didn't want to ruin the vibe. I was like, oh, it reverts back to what he said.
Yeah, I love that.
When you're on the subway thinking about your ugly wife or something like that, yeah.
When you're the good guy, right, who's doing the right thing, and this is just so true to life. Like, your life is following the rules, upholding the law,
Yeah.
trying to catch the bad guys. You complete the big case that, I mean, and this movie takes place over years, like at least a few years. And then to just be like, cool, we did it. And then you're riding home on the train. And well, this guy's got a yacht.
That's the hero, you know?
Yeah.
That's the hero.
Oh, yeah.
And he just rides home on his train. Yeah.
So you hadn't seen, you said you haven't seen Goodfellas or Casino or any of those other films, right?
They've for sure been on in the background throughout my life, but I've never seen them, no.
All right. Yeah, we'll have to watch like Goodfellas soon at least, because I don't know. I remember when I first saw this, which it was crazy that it was 2013. We were looking at that. I thought it was 2015, but like, fuck, 12 years ago this movie came out. It feels like it wasn't that long ago, but I remember being really stoked. Like, one, it really blew me away how raunchy it was. Like, I didn't know, like, that shot very early on in the movie of like the chick's ass and he comes up and he's like blowing drugs into her or whatever. Like, it just really sets the tone.
It off the top.
Yeah, sets the tone immediately. This is where we're going with this.
And it's cool. I think it's cool Leo took, like, that's a risky role to take, you know? It's very out there.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. So, Taxi Driver is Scorsese, right? Yeah, I feel like the even the direction is very different from that movie.
Yeah.
It's extremely different. But Killers of the Flower Moon, maybe because it's Leo, I felt like it was a little, that movie's pretty slow. I feel like this movie moves pretty quickly.
That's the cool thing with Scorsese, man, is like, I think, I was just talking about how I haven't seen all his movies yet, but I've seen a lot of them. And I feel, and I mean, I'm pretty sure it's undisputed. Like, sure, you can argue it, I guess, but he's one of the greatest American filmmakers of all time, possibly one of the greatest of all time, like, in the world. And he's got like a pretty wide range, man. It's like the very next year, 2016, he did Silence with Adam Driver and Andrew Garfield about the Portuguese dudes that are like spreading Christianity to Japan, like way slower, calmer, like movie, meditative, but like super dark and fucked up. Like one that I've only seen the one time because I'm like, I don't know that I can put myself through it.
It's too heavy.
Yeah. I mean, I should revisit it, but and then Taxi Driver being very different. But I bring up Goodfellas because this is very much, and like Casino as well, and maybe probably a little bit The Irishman too. Like when it comes to his gangster shit, he has like this very clear vision and like energy and editing style and shooting style and like the voiceover narration.
I love the voiceover narration, especially when it like cuts between like line dialogue and narration. I love that. And it goes back and forth. Yeah,
and super just like seamless with it. It's amazing. And it's that similar style, which I love. Like, so when I first saw it, I was stoked because I'm like, all right, this is him doing like that Goodfellas thing, but it's still fresh. It doesn't just feel like he's copying himself. Yeah. It's always fresh, and it makes sense for the story. And clearly he's drawn to these stories of, kind of criminal people that come up, and it's all about their rise and their fall. And he like takes you through, a lot of people fault him for like, oh, he glorifies all this shit. But he really doesn't, because the way it ends, it never ends well for these people. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, Jordan Belfort only served 3 years. He got out. It's fine. But, for the most part, man, like everybody fucking comes down. Or, I mean, I don't want to spoil the other movies, but the ending is very similar to those other films as well, which is cool. Yeah. He's really good at like conveying it with the visuals and like the last frames,
Yeah, I think, I've only seen Taxi Driver, Killers of Flower Moon. Is Raging Bull him?
Yeah, that's him.
I've seen that. I think those are the only ones I've seen. Yeah. And like I said, those are very different from this movie.
Yeah. Every single one of those films is quite different.
Yeah, but I would love to see them. But this movie, I love the pace of this movie. For being so long, I'm never like, oh man, is this gonna end soon? Like,
yeah.
Or like, I think that's, the editing's great, everything's great, but the pace is kind of like the most important thing for me. The music is great, keeps it moving. It's just a fun movie.
Yeah, and it's crazy. He's someone where I feel like this movie and a lot of his others, when it comes to pacing, I almost want to like, I'm not gonna do it because I like to just sit and enjoy the movie. but I almost want to go like frame for frame and like really pay attention to like the transitions and just the way he moves the camera from one shot into the next. And
they were even playing a lot as far as editing goes with like using I forgot what the dimensions are for old school TV. Square.
Yeah, like the 4:3.
Yeah, 4:3. Yeah, then they expand and then they come back down. Yeah.
Like it almost go to like a commercial type vibe. And a lot of speed ramping in this one too that I always forget about. Like this going into slow motion through a long take and all that. Looking at the Oscar nominations, it's ridiculous that Thelma Schumacher was not nominated for an Oscar because she's got to be one of the best editors in the game by far. And let me make sure it's still her. Yeah. And because she's been with him like since day one, I think. Okay. Like, since his first movie, she's been like the person. Yeah.
Really?
But they're just such a great duo. And
that's cool too, because we were kind of talking about like female directors and stuff, but back in the day, most editors were female, weren't they?
Yeah, I feel like when you look at a lot of the old credits, it's a lot of women doing it. Yeah. And no one really talks about it.
But that's like really cool.
Yeah.
But you know, today it's all convoluted, but that's really cool. And she's been with him the whole time?
Yeah, I think since his first movie, or at least, Taxi Driver.
That's awesome.
If not the ones before that.
That's commendable, sticking with your people. You know?
Yeah, I can only imagine what it's like in that editing room, like the shorthand they have. And she's probably the one person that can tell him his what he's doing is stupid. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm sure he doesn't take shit from anybody except her. But I remember watching an interview with Robert Richardson, who shoots like Quentin Tarantino stuff, and he shot Casino and I think a couple other movies for Scorsese. And I bring this up because again, it's a similar style, like the edits and the transitions and the energy and the pacing is Wolf of Wall Street. And he talked about how when he like interviewed or they met about the gig, he came with all these ideas and we can do this and show it this way. And I guess Scorsese would just like, it's cool that you did that, but put that away. Like, we're not doing any of that. Like, I have it all fucking planned out. Yeah. I just need you to light this shit. like we're just going to do this to a T. And he's like, all right, that's all. That's,
So I put together these ideas of shots and things for the film. And I've done that my whole career with Oliver. With Marty, he got these notes. And I was suddenly called into the production office and Barbara DeFina. And Barbara was head down behind the table. She looks up and she goes, Marty wants to talk to you. And my head went down like, okay. I said, about what? About the notes. Marty got on the phone, very polite, because he is a tremendous gentleman. He goes, Bob, I got your notes. I have not looked at them, nor will I ever look at them. When I finish writing the script and I'm happy with my script, I will give you a notes for every shot in the film. That was it. And I left. Like, all right. I guess I'll be operating and lighting on this show. Some people want more help. And I like to work in all capacities. I like to be a chameleon. Anyway, that was the result of my mistake. Almost, I thought, was going to get me fired, but fortunately it did not. It's not collaborative with Marty.
But you can tell that too. Like, I think we were talking about this even a couple weeks ago. Like, what I admire about him, and I think what keeps the pacing up, is like how intentional every shot and again movement and all that is. That's why it's worth studying.
And the script as well. The scriptwriter had to take that book, and I'm not sure how long that book is, but it's about this guy's life, and like we said, it was like probably over a decade or whatever it was, and just get these great scenes. And like I was thinking that too when we were watching, like, how many scenes are in this movie? Right, there's a gang.
A lot of scenes.
Gang of scenes in this movie. And to just kind of keep a train of thought while slicing it all up. That's crazy.
Dude, that is the wild thing.
And that's also, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like I was saying, there's definitely more than 3 acts. Yeah. It's hard to think like that, like, okay, and then we're going to come back down, and then nope, we're going back up, another climax. Yeah.
That's the stuff that I feel like a lot of people don't realize about directing, like that it's not just all style and whatever, and obviously it's like performance and edits and all that, but the fact that like I feel like people don't realize, or just we don't think about, which is fine, you're not supposed to, but the fact that, like, to your point, so many scenes, so many acts, but also it's like this shit's not shot in order.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
exactly.
like you're saying, yeah, it's like to be able to, and that's like real skill.
And to carry that energy.
Yeah, exactly. And to know, like, to have such a clear vision of like, okay, right here in this moment, you know, Jordan Belfort is in this state.
Yeah.
And we're coming out of this scene. But right after we shoot this scene, we're going to go and shoot something at the beginning of the fucking movie, which is like before you even got
he's
your
supposed
career.
to be 22 years old. Yeah.
Exactly. And we're going to shoot that an hour from now, you know, or whatever. And, you know, I think especially with folks like us that are, you know, aspiring directors / directors, there's a lot, especially me right now. I've been thinking about that aspect of it a lot is like, I feel like that's where it's like holding that shit together, like you said, is where you really test the mettle of man or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
So how much of that do you think is like contributed to directing versus the scriptwriter? And how do you think he was very involved with the screenplay or?
I wonder. I don't know how deep into it he gets. Like, I imagine it's probably...
Or you think
like
someone just threw on his desk, like, hey, let's...
Yeah, like, hey,
this?
the agent pulled this up.
Yeah.
Like, let's make this. It seems right up your alley. Yeah, I'm not sure what that process was from. Or, like, how much he's involved in, like, all right, let me take a pass at it now.
Yeah.
Because some directors won't touch it, and others will be like, all right, now I'm going to do my little changes. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think the script definitely has to be there, right? And a lot of the folks that are also really good writer-directors will talk about how, like, if the fucking script's there, like, more than half the directing work is done for the people that do both. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I wonder.
Because, like, I think Killers of the Flower Moon, the book takes place from the FBI's perspective.
I heard about that,
and I think that, I could be wrong, I think Scorsese said, let's switch that when it came to the screenplay. I don't know if he wrote the screenplay.
I don't think so.
So yeah, I think it was him who said let's switch it and let's have it be about this love story. Totally different movie, but so I wonder how far involved he was with this one as far as like all the decisions and picking the scenes and everything.
I know, huh? It would be interesting to be a fly on the wall in those kinds of conversations, like the genesis of like, all right, writer and director are now together. Like, what does that look like on this particular movie?
And I hope a lot of this movie was improv because there was some great stuff from Jonah Hill and Leo. Like, man.
Yeah, dude, I feel like it's gotta be, right? And if it's not, then damn, that writing's real good. If it's like down to the word, like, holy shit, man. Because...
Even like the direction too, like if that was some of that was improv too, like there was one little part where Donnie or Jonah Hill was like giving a speech and he was like, you know, drugged out going off the rails, but he starts banging on the roof and the roof goes up, and I was like, I bet no one told him to do that. He was just doing it. And it like really worked though.
Yeah, there are some moments, and I was trying to pay attention to this on this viewing, is of moments of where it seems like it might be kind of improv, but then when I look at the edit, I'm like, that was like a clean edit though. Like, it doesn't look like this is like a really good improv. Let's like cut this in. Like, it looked very seamless. Like, it's part of the plan. And I mean, who knows, you know, like I wouldn't be surprised if they probably did multiple takes. Like, hey, we need one, you know, by the book, and then, all right, give us another one with like whatever the fuck you want to do, and we'll go with it.
Because when I think improv, I think comedy movie.
Yeah.
Would you consider this a comedy?
Kind of, man. I don't.
Right?
I mean,
dang, because I'm laughing the whole movie.
I think it is a lot of comedy for sure. I think I would consider it comedy the same way I would consider like a Quentin Tarantino movie a comedy, you know, or some of them where that's not at the. I don't know. I'm gonna put this in. I'm gonna call this a comedy.
Dang.
A comedy drama, because he does punch Margot Robbie in the stomach, and then that gets real dark. I remember that moment in the theater, man. Like that's when everyone like has that gasp. Like, I love like packed house, like day one of this movie coming out,
especially when it comes from Leo.
Dude, ooh. And then that's that move. Like, okay, the fun's over, like the party's over. And I remember everyone,
when the kids in the car,
dude. I remember people like shrieking, and all the girls are like, you know, doing all that shit when he hits the wall. And not fun anymore, kids. It was all good when he was crawling down the fucking stairs and shit. But another brilliant, man. Like, I would love love to see this in a theater again because I just remember so clearly like all these moments and like how everyone was just rolling.
Yeah.
You know, like in the theater, especially the lemon 714 Quaalude scene.
Yeah. That's so good. And I just think Leo's so great, man. Like Revenant was good, but his performance in this just shits on that one.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like they gave him Revenant as like a I'm sorry. Because he hadn't won anything. He still hasn't won anything other than Revenant, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think
That's
that was
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like it should have been this one. Yeah, Revenant was like, yeah, sorry about last year, and also, you know, you like trudged through the freezing snow, and like crawling through the snow for this. So I guess we'll give it to you. That's like when I think about Scorsese and his crazy career, and again, like some of the greatest American films of all time, ones that like never won any Oscars, but are definitely talked about and I mean, we were looking up the Oscar for this year, like 12 Years a Slave. Like no one's talking about that. People still talk about Taxi Driver. People still talk about Goodfellas.
Yeah, I guarantee you the streams on 12 Years a Slave was so low. Yeah. But I bet you a bunch of people were watching Wolf of Wall Street this past year.
Oh, for sure. But, what was I saying? But it makes me think about like Scorsese, how he like always got snubbed too. Like never made it until The Departed, which is a really
that's a great movie.
Yeah, which is a really great one. But it's also kind of funny because it's like, man, the movie that's like a remake of a Hong Kong movie from like 2001. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
It's a remake of a Hong Kong movie with Andy Lau and Tony Leung. Yeah, and it's like beat for beat, like the same movie almost. Yeah.
Really?
It's pretty close. I mean, Jack Nicholson is like way more dope than the villain in the other movie. So he gets a lot more to do because it's fucking Jack.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good. And that one's a trilogy. It's called Infernal Affairs. So there's 3 movies.
Okay.
But yeah, I always think it's so funny that of all the films, like that's the one he won for. Like I would have put him up for this, man. Like, or, you know, a bunch of other ones. Yeah.
Dude, this movie's so good. Do you think this movie's so fun and paced so well because it's about drugs, alcohol, partying, money, living life lavishly? Do you think that's part of it? Or do you think it's like just put together well?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think it's both for sure. It's exciting because I don't think we all want to bang like pink slip hookers or whatever he calls them every day and have that be on all kinds of drugs that would like, you know, level this whole town or whatever in one day. But there is kind of a fantasy element to it where I think most people watch this and it's like, that would be pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Man. Like to live like just... And I think Goodfellas is the same way because you're seeing these guys like, all my life I wanted to be a gangster, and he gets in and it's like, we get respect and we do whatever the fuck we want and there's no rules and it's all cool until people start getting fucking ice picked in the back of the head and shit. So I think it's put together well because the way they edit and the way he shoots and everything is like constantly like forward momentum, but also the fact that they're having fun. And like, I feel like in the movie, we almost like live vicariously through it, you know? You know, I've been going through the James Bond movies right now, like I mentioned, and even that too. It's like, I feel like with Bond, especially in the 60s, it's like the fantasy shit. Like what guy didn't want to be, or do you want to do the other one, the Amberana?
If you don't mind.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
What was I saying?
Bond movies.
Oh yeah. I feel like I know I'm only bringing this up because I've been fucking marathoning them right now for the first time, but I think it's something similar where it becomes more fun because if you're fucking being honest with yourself, like every dude wishes they were fucking Bond.
Yeah.
Like every dude wishes they were Bond. Like,
every dude has said their last name, then their first name.
Yeah.
At some point.
Like minus the like hint of racism and the misogyny, but like to just travel the world and just know everything about booze and fucking literally everything, know fucking everything. And like sleep with like the hottest women. Come on now.
Yeah.
Like wear cool suits and shit. Know how to fight
there's
everybody.
There's some racism in the old school Bond movies?
Just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. Yeah, it's not like super overt.
Yeah.
But in the first movie, he's got like this dude helping him out. You know, helping him. He's like kind of the fishing boat dude. And of course, spoiler alert, it's from fucking 1962 though, but he gets killed, of course.
Yeah.
And there's like parts where Bond is just like, fetch my shoes. He's like, we're gonna go over. He's like, grab me this.
And
He's just like,
and it's what's his name? Sean Connery?
Yeah, Sean
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it's just shit like that. You're like, okay, all right. Well, and then there's also like yellow face and shit.
Oh, there's yellowface acting in it?
Yeah, like white actors made up to look Chinese. But
that's funny.
to make a long answer short, I think the subject matter and the directing, editing is what makes it good pacing.
Anything you think like the movie lacked?
No. Yeah, I wouldn't change a thing, man.
I wonder if there's like a director's cut or extended cut. You have the Blu-ray?
Shit. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah. I doubt there'd be an extended, like anything more than this. And I feel like more often than not, directors and extended cuts aren't even better.
Really?
At least for me. Like some are, like Aliens is like by far like way fucking better.
Really?
Like the whole movie is fucking different.
Aliens?
Yeah, like the second one.
Okay.
Just to be like one example of like a director's cut that's better. But yeah, this
Zack Snyder cut.
Oh, that was better. Yeah,
it's still not like I've never seen it. I just heard it was way better.
It's not like an amazing movie,
I'm never
but it
watching
is
that
better.
crap again.
Yeah, you don't want to sit there for that because that's like 4 hours.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
a
never
long
watching that crap again.
Yeah, I watched it twice in one day when it came out because my roommate and I watched it. And then I went to like hang out with my brother, and he's like, "I'm gonna put this on," and I was like, "Fuck, all right, I guess I'll watch it." So it was like a full day.
The Snyder cut both times.
The Snyder cut both times, dude.
Damn,
that was a fucking work day of this fucking low tier DC movie. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Like, would you change anything in this or add it? Do you feel it needed more?
No, I think everything was great except the Foo Fighters song. Was it the Foo Fighters?
Yeah, Everlong.
That was the one. No, I don't think it was Everlong.
Yeah, that's Everlong.
Was it Everlong?
Are
you sure?
Yeah. Yeah, here ChatGPT. Let's see what GBT's got.
Yeah, other than that, I feel like that song like didn't belong in that part of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it does stand out. It doesn't bother me because I guess it probably came out around the same year this takes place, and that's why he used it. But I know what you mean but yeah, it doesn't. It's not that negative to me.
No, it wasn't like it wasn't bad. But I was like,
yeah, it
like
definitely popped.
He was using all these different songs, and then all of a sudden it's just Foo Fighters. It was Everlong. You're right.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. Didn't feel right.
I get really bummed out when John Berthal gets arrested because Jonah Hill's being a complete dickhead. I like when he knocks him out though. Just like boom, knocks him out cold and all that. He fucking had it coming.
For some reason I remembered the ending of his story differently. I remembered him at the end back at his mom's house for some reason.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess it's just the one scene, huh?
Yeah.
Like that one moment when he's like selling drugs to fucking kids.
Yeah. I don't know why I remembered that like back. I guess that's what happens when you don't see a movie in a long time, which is nice. It wasn't like a chore to watch this again.
Yeah.
You know, especially a 3-hour movie. It was cool.
Yeah, that's always good. And that's no easy feat, man. Like, especially now, like, at this stage in life, it's like long movies. Like, it better be good. That's why I didn't.
It better be good.
Like, I was curious to go see The Brutalist, but I'm like, fuck, there's like a 3.5 hour movie.
That's not
now.
a quote unquote comedy either.
Yeah. I was like, I'm kind of curious because it's like a contender. But I never saw it. But because of that, I'm like, I don't have time for this. Dude. I can go watch like 2 movies, you know, 2 movies instead of that, or spend time with the lady, or work on my personal shit,
or just not watch a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, do anything else. But I enjoy a good movie. Just it's got to be
like you said. If it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
If it moves, it moves.
I did because Killers of the Flower Moon was really long, and that one I did feel I liked it. I hate that there's no Blu-ray of it. I can't stand that.
Really?
Yeah, like you can only watch it if you stream. Yeah, I think on Apple or like Apple and maybe Amazon as well.
They never ever released.
No. Really? Yeah, which is sad. It's really sad to me.
Who was the distributor?
It was Apple. Oh. Or they were the producers or whatever. Yeah, so they're distributing because it's on their shit.
Yeah, so they were like, fuck that. We're not releasing this on Blu-ray. Everyone has to stream it.
So
interesting.
fucking annoying. Like even The Irishman too. Like the only Blu-ray of that is Criterion, because Criterion Collection did it. Because that's fucking Netflix. Like,
yeah,
I hate that we live.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I hate that we live in a world where, and I've said this probably a few times on the show, that Scorsese, even someone of his caliber, like one of the last greats, has to go to these like streamers and shit to get like the money he needs to make the movies he wants to make. And I'm not going to claim that I know all the ins and outs of that business, but I just can't stand that. Like,
and it probably in the long run screws over a lot of the people involved in the movie, you know?
Yeah.
Because I mean, part of some of the actors' contracts before used to be DVD sales and stuff like that. So they ain't getting that no more. Yeah,
that's right. I forgot how all that, because they still, or I guess that's what a lot of the strikes are about, right? Because they don't want to pay residuals for streaming or something, or it's the fact that like once they take it off streaming, then they like seize all that or something. Yeah, I forgot all that shit. Yeah,
like Snoop Dogg came out too, and he's like, I don't remember exactly what it was, but he's like, I made X amount of money from streaming last year, and it was nothing, you know.
Damn.
And it's Snoop Dogg. I listen to a Snoop Dogg song a day at least, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's a sad time, and I mean that's a whole discussion.
It's sad, but at the same time, it's so cool because like anyone can make something and it could be streamed, you know, and a million eyes can see it. It might not make money,
yeah,
but the world can see it. But at the same time, let's say you get an opportunity to make some money. You know, and it goes straight to streaming or whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? Like, yeah, potentially you can get a lot of eyes on it, maybe, or it just falls into another one of when you're scrolling through Netflix, just another one of the movies that everyone passes up, you know, that no one would ever, or some people would give a chance, but like fucking put it on while they're doing their laundry and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, like it's just sad that it's not the days anymore of like you make the movie and it costs X amount of dollars and it goes into theaters for weeks or a month. Yeah. And then a couple months later you get your DVD Blu-ray. Now it's just instantaneous.
Yeah. I think the saddest part is the death of the movie theater, because that's pretty sad to me. I love the movie theater, and you know, everyone streams from home now. Everyone would rather watch from home. I love the experience of the theater, so that's the saddest part for me. But I don't mind not having a million DVDs around my house, you know?
Yeah, it is a lot. I've got a ton.
I bet you do.
It's a thing. It is.
That's clutter right there.
Yeah, well, now they're talking about how, well, you know, they're like stopping production of like Blu-ray players and shit, which is scary. And now like discs are getting laser rot, where just over time they're like not working anymore.
Really?
Yeah, that's the thing. I forgot all the science and the ins and outs of it. I was listening to someone speak about it, but that's the thing where now a lot of people are like, oh, my shit doesn't even work anymore.
Is
like,
it from overuse or from just time?
Just time. Like whether you watch it a lot or not.
Wow.
It's something about like the inside of the disc and moisture and oxidation. And, yeah, some bullshit.
So all these thousands you spent on these Blu-rays, it's going to dust.
Yeah, whether I like it or not. I feel like I got to buy 3 Blu-ray players just as backups and shit.
Buy some PlayStations, bro.
Yeah, maybe. Shit. But no, man, on the theater tip, well, one, you got to go to the Vista with me soon. Like, I think I'm going to try to do the Mad Max 2 at midnight on Saturday if you're not working. Maybe. I don't know for sure yet, but
that's rough,
it's Mad Max 2. It's going to be a good theater movie. But when I went early in the morning, which didn't feel good because I was definitely fucking hungover to go see fucking.
We drank quite a bit the night before too. Dude, yeah, and had that Raising Cane's at like midnight or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's right. We didn't even like close the place too. We left at like a reasonable time.
Yeah,
but man, I woke up. I was not feeling good in the morning. Went to see that movie though, and I was stoked, man. I get really stoked by a shit like this. Like, it was Modern Times, Charlie Chaplin. You know, like that movie was like the last silent film. Like, sound was already a thing. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So it's a mix of silent and sound, but mostly silent, and that was the last one. But I wasn't expecting it, especially because it was 10 a.m. too. It was like almost a full house, dude. Really? It was so many people. And I love to see like the range of ages, and there's like little kids there, and like adults and little kids are laughing at this movie from like 1936.
That's cool.
And I'm like, dude, this shit still holds up. Because, you know, I was talking about how watching some of these movies with Fred and some of the comedies and shit he picks, I'm like, this shit doesn't work.
Yeah.
But then watching, dude, Modern Times, Charlie Chaplin, I'm like, this is fucking better than everything Fred's asked me to watch.
Mostly slapstick?
Yeah,
Slapstick
just like
never
the
gets
goofy
old, man.
stuff, man. But it also is like it's a good story, and the ending actually made me kind of emotional. It really blew me away, and you can feel the energy to like all the laughter, and then when people are just like, oh shit, there's a little bit of hope in the world, maybe.
I gotta check
if you choose the right attitude. Well, yeah, no, I just love seeing that shit. It's good. Yeah, man. Fucking Wolf of Wall Street, huh?
Dude, I love that movie, man. I would say my top 5, if not my top 10 for sure.
I gotta ask. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up again. So what would be the other 4 of the top 5?
That's rough. Goonies is in there.
That's right. We gotta talk about that.
Goonies is in there. A random movie that no one knows, and it's not even good, but I love it because it was so pivotal in my childhood, is the Digimon movie, animated dumb film. What else?
You weren't into Pokemon though, just Digimon?
No, I was a Digimon kid.
Great. No Pokemon at all, just straight
I mean,
Digimon.
I fucked with Pokemon, but I like Digimon because he had one. And it's like they got a real bond. Pokemon, he has like little sluts, you know? It's like, gotta catch them all. Like, there's no real bond. There's no real love right there.
He had the bond with Pikachu.
That was his favorite.
That was number 1.
Yeah.
I always felt like Digimon came on as like oh, they're biters, but maybe it was actually even earlier. That's how I always felt.
What do you mean?
The Digimon came after Pokemon, right?
I believe so. Like maybe a year or two, yeah.
Because I always thought of it as like, oh, it's another thing. Even back then, I'm just like biters. Maybe it was the skater in me. Like
no. I love
biters.
That shit, man. Love that movie. What else? Goonies, like I said. I don't know. There's a Lord of the Rings, Two Towers.
Oh, okay. The second one.
Second one. Yep. Definitely.
Those are 3 movies that I also need to go back and like, okay, I got to watch these.
Wait, you said you never seen them, right?
I saw them, but like in theaters when they came out never watched them again. I just wasn't as into it as everyone else. I just went because it was like the cultural moment, you know?
I really want to host a Lord of the Rings watch party. We all have to dress up and like we serve like weird Hobbit food and stuff and drink some mead and
Damn, dude. You got the TV for it.
Yeah.
You're going to do the extended cuts?
I've never seen the extended cuts. I heard they're amazing. My friend Chris is really into Lord of the Rings. Like he could even speak a little Elvish. And he told me the extended cuts are freaking epic.
That's what I've heard. Like everyone I've talked to that's seen the extended cuts say that, like, I guess that's an example of it's actually better, which is interesting. So maybe when I do go back, I'll go that route. Cause I haven't heard one single, like everyone says that, that's the way to go.
Yeah. I've never seen it either.
I was bummed because there was one day I was like working or something, but it was a Saturday or Sunday in Secret Movie Club. I may have told you this before. At the big theater that they rent out sometimes by Grand Central Market, they did a triple feature of the extended cut. Mm-hmm. So it was, I think, like 10 a.m.
God, that's so long.
And then it ended at like midnight or 1 a.m. But there's like an hour break in between each movie.
Yeah.
And Grand Central Market's next door. So you can get beer and like take it into the theater with you.
They let you come in and out, no problems.
And take food in. Oh, so it's like you got plenty of shit to do like in between. But I really wish... Like, I would have stuck it out for that. That would have been the way to do it.
I remember when Lord of the Rings 1 came out, and I remember my dad took me to the theater to see it. It was like a Saturday morning. And I remember just thinking, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, the first one is kind of slow, but just the scale of, you know, cinema that it is, it was just so cool. It blew my mind. And then the second one and the third one. But yeah, those are just, I don't know. They're redoing all the Harry Potters right now. And I'm just like, please leave Lord of the Rings alone. Like, make your show. Don't do anything with the movies. Don't go back.
Sooner or later, it's happening.
It's going to happen. I know. It's going to happen. I can't believe they're already redoing the Harry Potter stuff. It's way too soon for that.
Well, that's what's funny is I guess like by the modern standards, it actually has been quite a while, which is crazy. I mean, like Spider-Man got, because the Spider-Man 3 was 07, 8, 9, 10, 11, 2012. So 4 years later, they had the remake.
Yeah.
And then later the MCU started. So they did it again. And I remember that was like, fuck, really? And then with Batman, it's like, what, 2012 was Dark Knight Rises. Then DC was going to do their thing. And I think that movie came out in like 2015, 2016. So not even 5 years later. Yeah, so it's crazy how quick it happens now.
You think, let's say, 20 years from now, someone's redoing Wolf of Wall Street?
I don't know if this
is. You think they redo any of Scorsese's movies ever?
No.
Just leave him alone, huh?
Yeah, I don't think I'm sure there's some stupid motherfucker out there that's going to pitch it or probably has already tried.
Yeah.
Because maybe we can make money off this.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're like that. You know what I mean? And I'd like to think that most people know better than to do that. But who knows? Because, I'm doing this whole Bond marathon, right? Today I watched Thunderball, which was the fourth movie, so Sean Connery. And there's one production company that's been doing an Eon all through all of them. But there was one movie that I think Warner Brothers made outside of that in 1983 called Never Say Never Again. And it's a fucking remake of Thunderball, also starring Sean Connery as James Bond. Dude, yeah, I learned this today. It's because Thunderball is one of the books, and so they're both adaptations of the book. But so it's like the same.
But they're just like,
movie.
hey, we can do it better, or we can do it differently.
Yeah, there was something with the producer had like these rights, and they told him like, all right, well, you can't. We'll let you put your name on Thunderball. And you can still have these other rights, but you can't make a Bond movie for like 10 years. Because I guess they thought like it's just going to fizzle out, but it kept getting bigger and bigger. And so he made it 16 years later. But also and by that point, Sean Connery wasn't Bond for years. It was already Roger Moore.
Wow.
But they brought Sean Connery back for that movie, but he's like quite a bit older.
That's weird. And is it like canon with the 007?
No.
None of them are really canon, right? Like they're all kind of like their own stories in a way, no?
I mean, I think, I don't know. That's getting into a whole thing. I think they are all canon in a way. Casino Royale, like when Daniel Craig took over, that's when it kind of started over. Okay. Because that was supposed to be him like first becoming 007 and that was the first book.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Casino Royale. But the first movie was Dr. No, which was like the sixth book. Okay. But they are connected in that it's like the same evil organization as what's doing all this shit. So it's like Spectre's the big villain.
Brits, right?
Yeah. Well, Spectre's a little bit of everybody, I guess. They're all the fucking...
it's like a global...
Yeah. So they got ties to everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, why did I bring that? Oh, the remake thing. So apparently the remake shit's been ridiculous longer than I thought. So in a world where they can do this fucking Bond movie remake starring the same, like imagine if they remade The Dark Knight with like Quentin Tarantino, but Christian Bale like also played Batman again. So, or not even Quentin Tarantino, like a way lesser director probably. Yeah. Like if I remade fucking Dark Knight and then I'm like, hey Christian, I need you in here. It's fucking 20 years later, do it again.
I'd watch it. Dang, do you think anyone else could have fulfilled the Jordan Belfort role as well as Leo?
I don't know. I don't know enough about that dude in reality. I have watched some interviews with him in the past, but yeah, I mean, no one comes to mind as an actor that like I see them do that part. So as far as I know, I think Leo nailed it. And whether that is like truly accurate or not, he put on a hell of a character. Yeah, he put on a hell of a character. Again, showed a lot of range. So, I mean, I also, when it comes to movies like this, I that are based on real people, I kind of take them with a grain of salt because obviously there's a lot of creative freedom, license or whatever. I feel like some people get a little too bent out of shape about that shit. Like with Social Network, you've seen that, right?
Yeah.
Love that movie. But I remember people were like, oh, well, that's not how it really happened, and he's not this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really care about the real people. Like, I don't even give a shit about Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah. Like, but the movie, the story was really compelling. Yeah. Like, all of that can be fucking made up. Yeah. I don't know. I never read the book. I don't care. But the fucking movie was dope. So, like, all of this shit can be fake, you know, and it's a hell of a movie. Yeah. I don't know. How do you feel about that? You have someone in mind?
No, literally the best guy, honestly. I don't know. Leo's my favorite actor. up there with what's his name? God, I can't think of his name. Donnie Darko.
Jake Gyllenhaal. Nightcrawler.
Jake Gyllenhaal, Leo, and I can't think of anyone's name right now. Oh, he was in The Bike Riders.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Hardy's dope.
Tom Hardy's so cool,
Super
man.
dope.
I was just watching Venom 2. Yeah. Terrible movie, but Tom Hardy makes it fun, man.
Yeah, I feel like he really carries all of it on his back for sure.
I'm like, how much of me is like just fanboying and like how much of it is like you're just really good, you know? Even with Leo in this movie, like how much of me just loves watching you act versus like you being great at what you're doing. But he's great.
One thing I was thinking about like with the movie is I was thinking about this with another film I was watching recently. I forgot, but it crossed my mind of I think part of what also makes like where you can tell they are really great is like I love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I completely fucking forget that it's like, oh, him and fucking Margot Robbie are like married and banging each other in this movie. And they're also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood together. But I don't even think about the fact that they were in this movie together as a couple and had all these scenes together. When in the other one, I don't even think they have a single scene together because their characters and their portrayals are so different. Like they literally embody these different characters. That I don't even like connect it. Like I know it's them, but I don't even think about that.
They create the what is it called? Suspended disbelief.
Suspension of disbelief.
Suspension of disbelief really well.
Yeah, it's like you are fucking Rick Dalton. You are Naomi Duchess, whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
Barbie. Like. I'm like, fuck, man. It's like not even the same person, you know?
And Jonah Hill, surprisingly, kind of, stepped out of being the fat, funny guy. Even, I guess, during the time this movie was kind of a bigger move for him. This was after Moneyball, though, right?
Yeah, this was after.
Yeah, Moneyball was like the one that I was like, oh, wow. Like,
yeah, he's got chops.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool coming off of Superbad that him and Emma Stone, right? Like both have had really good acting careers and Oscar nominees. I mean, didn't she won, I think, a year or two ago. It's cool that they came out because I always think it was Superbad. That was like the funniest movie to me when it came out. And I'm like, wow, it's amazing to see these young actors like get to that next level. Like, damn, you're in a fucking Scorsese movie, dude.
That's
like
cool.
you're at the top.
Yeah.
And John Bernthal, even though he doesn't have that big a part in here, he's so cool. Great. Always loved him in Walking Dead, man. Season 1 and 2.
Yeah, and he's so good.
He's another actor that I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Where like I root for them. I'm like, yeah, you're doing Scorsese shit. Like you fucking made it. You know?
I feel like he's kind of. I like him a lot too, but I feel like he is a little bit more in the like typecasting.
Yeah, like a tough guy.
Yeah, tough guy
for sure.
Typecast. Because even in was it not Tanks? What was that movie called?
Oh, is that Fury? I want to see that. I haven't seen it yet. I need to get on that.
Relatively the same kind of vibe, macho guy. But Tanks. Fury. Tanks is a video game. Fury's really good as well.
Yeah, no, I gotta watch that.
Oh, Shia LaBeouf, man, he's in my top actors too.
Yeah,
I think he's super underrated.
Well, I think he was rated for a while until he was like being crazy.
Yeah.
Abusing girlfriends.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a method actor too.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Even regardless of whatever shit he's done, I mean, people see his talent and are still putting him in fucking movies. Like the dude that did Bad Lieutenant made that church movie with him. And wasn't he in Megalopolis? I never saw it, but I think he was in it.
Okay.
So, the heavies are like recognize that talent. So,
yeah,
whatever. But
Wolf of fucking Wall Street, bro. Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
It's a very small role, but also good. Sets the tone with the chant. I wanted to start the podcast with the chant, but I totally forgot.
Dude, he does that like whistle shit too, man. It's a fugazi, it's a fugazi, it's a watsa, it's a woozy, it's fairy dust.
Yeah.
Those are rookie numbers. You gotta get those numbers up. And this cocaine, this is your friend. Fucking crazy, dude. He just gets his mentor. And that's another thing where it's like he's working at this place for 6 months, he says. But talk about, again, good writing. Like filtering that mentorship down to one scene, right? Because obviously in reality, that would have been a whole stretched out thing. But it's like, okay, we know, and I'm trying to like pay attention to that type of shit too. It's like,
if my dumbass wrote the script, I would have been like, oh, well, he has to have like 18 scenes with his boss to show they have a good relationship and he learned something.
Yeah, we need like 30, 40 minutes of this. You just give them one good scene together. Again, I'm sure that didn't happen in real life like that, but let's get through it.
Yeah.
And then, hey, it's 6 months later and I'm not pawn scum or whatever.
Laid off or whatever.
Yeah.
You were saying, so all these directors that were in the movie, they just have good relationships with Scorsese or?
Yeah, I guess so. Like, I know Jon Favreau's always been a big fan of him and they've done a lot of interviews together. So it's cool to see him in there. I just think it's interesting. It's just neat to see like, oh, these directors like Rob Reiner's just in here acting and shit. He plays Mad Max, the dad. And then just the little bit part by Spike Jonze is just hilarious to me because it's just super random. I'm like, Spike Jonze in this movie? Oh, all right, that's dope. Fucking coming off the Oscar and shit.
And they all did a fairly good job too, which is cool.
Yeah, they're all great in their moments for sure. I really love Rob Reiner's character, the father, Mad Max. Like he's just funny every time he comes on. Like even the first scene when he's explaining how he has like a hot temper. And he can like, he'll like turn it off.
Was it?
The Equalizer. And he sits down. He's talking to his wife. He's like, "What happened? What I missed?" Oh, the guy did. He's like, "What guy? I don't know. What guy did to who? Who is it?" So fucking funny. $26,000.
Yeah, I would like to hope if there's an extended cut, there's a few more scenes with him. Yeah, that was funny.
Man, that reminds me. I gotta watch Spinal Tap again. Or this is Spinal Tap. It's been a while.
Is he in that, or he directed that?
He directed that.
Okay.
He's in it a little bit too because it's a mockumentary.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I've seen it,
yeah.
So I remember he's in a couple parts at least, but yeah, I haven't seen that one in a long time.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time. Yeah, that one's funny.
I'll have to pitch that to Fred or something.
Oh, he would love that.
Yeah.
I bet he's seen it.
I wonder, man. I know. He probably has seen it, but I wonder if he loves it.
What is the movie where he puts like the glasses on, everything's obey.
They Live.
You should have him.
We did that.
Oh, did you?
We did that like a month or two ago.
So he loved that one or what?
No,
really?
He didn't dislike it. He said he saw it before and he thought it was trash.
Okay.
And then on this viewing, he's like, I do appreciate it more and blah, blah, blah. But I thought for sure, I was like, that's one he's going to be
I thought
into.
he would love that because he loves like politics and hidden meanings and
I never know with this guy. I never fucking know.
Check out The Real Generation Gap on YouTube and get to know good old Fred.
Yeah. Give it a watch.
You should review Wolf of Wall Street with him.
Dang.
See how different it is.
That'd be interesting. I wonder if he's gonna tell me that it like really brought him down and made him lose hope for humanity.
I bet like there's too much nudity. I'm a Christian.
Or he's gonna be like, oh, this movie's so great, and this one left me with so much. I don't know. You got to listen to it's gonna come out probably in like a couple months, but the Another Round episode, I was like, what the fuck are you like? What movie did you watch, dude? Fucking A.
Yeah. Well, I mean, lastly, I'm wondering what the budget was for Wolf of Wall Street because there was a lot of cool stuff. Like that house. I think I just saw recently that they just sold the house in Wolf of Wall Street.
Really? Shit. I'm going to guess. I don't even know. I'm not good at this. I'm going to say 150 mil.
Not even.
My first guess was going to be 100 mil.
It was 100 mil.
Fuck, really?
100 mil.
That was what I was thinking, and then at the last second, I was like, I'm going to boost it up a little bit because I was thinking about the locations.
I'm surprised. I thought it'd be way more, to be honest. All the there was a gang of background actors.
Yeah.
Background actors, the cars, the properties.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
that's crazy. I wonder, let's see, how much did Leo make?
It's crazy to think, man, like being an actor, like an A-lister like that, like how one movie just gets you millions of dollars, like
and
a month or two of work.
Just be done.
Yeah, you can just do one film and be like, all right, I'm good.
So Leo got 25 mil.
Fucking A.
For The Feminist. Guess how much Margot Robbie made?
He made 25?
He made 25 mil.
She made 1?
She didn't even make. She made close to 350,000.
Yeah, I should have guessed less. Yeah, that's even that's. I mean,
that's crazy though, because for full nude though, that's crazy.
I mean, that's you cannot work for 3 years and that's 6 figures
That's
a
still,
year.
that's,
you know?
yeah, that's
But
still
but
great.
it's also, I mean, this is what, like her first movie. She wasn't a name yet. Like now, if she does a movie, she's in that 10 million, whatever.
Has she made any comments about being full nude in this movie? Do you know?
You know, I was reading something recently. There was an article that came out where she said that the first scene of her doing that, when he goes up to her apartment, that was actually her idea.
Really?
That it wasn't written for her to do that.
Open the door.
Or it
with
was
her.
like a discussion, but she said, I don't quote me on this, like find the article. I don't remember exactly, but she was talking about how it was, she wanted to do that. Because it was kind of for her, like in the character, she's like, that's the fucking power move, you know?
It is.
That's why she brought him up, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, you got to do that. And, that just goes to show that, she's like a good, mature actress, you know, not that anyone that would deny that is not, I'm not saying that, but the fact that she's thinking character first, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not about me, the person, it's like the character. So appreciate that. And obviously she's had a fucking really great career since then. And is like now able to take a break and shit, producing. Like,
man, I've never shot a sex scene or anything like that, but that must have been really awkward. Like even that opening scene, that's someone's ass cheeks in Leo's face in an opening scene of a movie.
It's weird.
That's crazy.
It's weird to think of all that shit. I mean, I'm sure it's a lot of clothes set, you know, but even still. I think too, like all these scenes, like Scorsese's a pretty old guy.
Yeah.
So I wonder what, like when they're directing these big party scenes, like what does that look like? He comes out and he just, all right, so Jonah, you need to stand here and I need you to jack off when she's standing and just keep repeating that she's perfect and I need you to react this way and then you're going to come and fucking kick him in the balls and slap him and everyone, you guys just need to celebrate and watch. Like it's just crazy to think about that. And
so
I mean,
many
the
moving
dolly
parts
right here and all this, like it's wild, man.
And according to ChatGPT, there's no credible evidence or confirmation that any scene of The Wolf of Wall Street featured Jonah Hill's actual genitalia. So
yeah, I don't remember actually seeing it.
Oh, it was there.
Oh yeah,
it was there. I mean, I don't know whose it is, if it was a rubber or what, but there was something. It shows something for something. Was in the hand. Something was there for a second. It must have been so fun to shoot this movie.
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, it looks like it. I think that's part of what sells it too. It's like, I imagine they must have had a good time doing it. Like, I'm sure it's a lot of serious work. And on a Scorsese movie, I imagine you're not like fucking around, but they must have had a good time. It comes across that they would have.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised to like hear stories of it being a fucking grim, like just terrible experience.
Hard to work with.
Yeah,
man.
That's all I got. Any final thoughts?
Great movie. If you haven't seen it, a lot of fun. Highly recommend it. You won't regret it. Leo's possible best performance, I would say. That's about it.
Yeah. No, I did all of that. Very fun movie. Yeah, great cast. Like, man, just super fun movie, man. Again, it's just like, it's a good time. You know, it gets rough at moments, but it's a good time.
And if you're watching it, have a drink. If you do drugs, join them in the movie and enjoy it with them because it just makes it even more fun.
Damn. All right, cool, man. Well, that's a wrap on this one, everyone. Cheers. Thank you for listening to the Drinks in a Movie podcast. You can now find us on Instagram at Drinks in a Movie Pod, where we'll be posting photos from all the various films that we discuss. You can also email us at drinksinAmoviepod@gmail.com. Please rate, review, and subscribe, and thank you for listening.